call the meeting to order. I attached the minutes to the agenda, so if anyone has not read them, so that we can approve them, they're here.
Can I just read them?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did Nick give us a new one of these?
It was updated at the last meeting in that email that he had sent out.
Yeah.
Okay, it was sent via email.
Yeah, but it hasn't been updated since then. I don't think there was anything to update on it.
Well, and I have to say, I mean, this is minor, but I think the red should be the ones that are active light. The
Yeah.
green should be the cleared, and the yellow should be, I mean, it's very hard to read.
Yeah, it's counterintuitive
Yeah.
for the colors.
Yes. Minor, but I'll ask him if he can change that.
I can probably change it. And I'm sorry, I missed it, Holly. What was the change you want to do on that spreadsheet?
It has, Liz, can you hold yours up? Or here,
The color coding seems counterintuitive because red, which you would think would be really bad, says not Blight. And green, which you would think would be good, is the bad. It feels like the red and the green should switch.
I just have a hard time reading it.
It's a minor point, but
I
agree
know,
with you.
it makes me crazy.
Okay, got it.
Have everybody read the minutes? Move to approve?
Move to approve.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Fine.
I told some of you Nick is not going to be here today. He has a conflict, but he did send me an email, which I've given you all a copy of, because the first new business that we have on the agenda is the status of case number 17-002, 17-005, and 18-004. So with that, I think when he sent me the email, he has used their addresses.
Yeah.
So I'll read them. The update is on Thursday, April 4th. I spoke with Mario Lombardi at 72 Old Kings Highway South. We spoke about the situation going on at his property and possibly putting up a fence. With talking to him, he stated he did not want to put up a fence. He stated he wanted to try to work with the tenant in removing stuff from the property. He let me know that he would be out to the property later today with a truck and a couple of guys to possibly remove some of the stuff on the exterior of the home. I made him aware that the committee wants it cleaned up by May 7th, deadline. At this time, I have not been back out to the property to check if any progress has been done. I think you said, Liz, that you went by today?
I did.
Also. And?
It looks just as bad, if not worse.
Yeah,
Now there's some mattresses out there.
it does look like there has been a truck or something there that was trying to organize stuff, but and that may be why it looks even worse. But there was nobody there physically doing anything.
So they, with the letter, have till?
May 7th.
Yeah.
Well,
Till really before that, I think.
the letter that was sent to him says,
Well, it was 30
By
days
April.
from
28th.
Yeah, by April 28th.
It was 30 days from the day after last meeting, so that's what the
29th.
29th. That's what was in the letter.
So he's going to get a fine starting 30 days after April 28th.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Also part of Nick's report is as...
Can we
go ahead.
just a sec? So all he has done is say he's going to try, but he hasn't actually done anything.
Nothing.
And he's on notice that the fine is about to kick in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The letters were sent certified, and the letters were also mailed. So they got
They got both versions,
Yeah.
both methods.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that's okay. With 149 Nearwater Lane, there still has not been a permit pulled for the demolition of the home. They too got a letter stating the same terms, so after the 29th of April, they too will be fine.
I talked to Lisa in the building department this afternoon and asked about the status of the demolition. She said that the homeowner was in about 3 weeks ago and brought in something, but still only 1/3 of the permit has been completed. So they're still a long way from doing what they had said they would do.
Well, at this point in time, it doesn't matter. They either do it or they don't.
And starting 30 days after April 28th, they are going to get fined $100 a day.
Yeah,
Okay,
they got the same letter.
they did. You attached it in the minutes.
He didn't report on 242, I think it's 242.
I'm sorry, just before the committee moves on, the board, excuse me. I just wanted to understand, I thought the letter that went out to them required that the blight be eliminated by April 7th. It was going to be March 30th, then it moved to April 7th because the letter didn't go out on time. How are we now at April 29th?
I think because of different times and allotments of time from the attorney saying it is 30 days from a certain period that you've warned them, now you have to say they are blighted.
The town attorney said we had
Yeah.
to issue another letter basically stating that blight had been determined by the board, which we thought already had occurred with
Yes.
the letters we had sent. And
Right.
that's so we got that resolved last time and sent the letter out the day after the last meeting.
So on March 29th of 2019, we sent a letter that says that failure to take corrective action within this time shall result of an automatic citation being issued to you, shall carry a penalty of $100 per day. You're directed to remove and abate the violation within 30 days from the date of this notice violation.
It's,
Another month. I just remind you that the evidence of blight, or the board determined blight in the October meeting. And
No,
right.
but that's not the process. The board in and of itself can't determine blight unless it goes through all of the stages. We cited and said we had evidence of blight, and the blight officer said there was blight. And we followed up that process, and the last step that we were supposed to do apparently, and we got advice from council, was after the appeals process, was we had to send another letter stating, yes, blight had been confirmed by the Blight Review Board, and you have dates certain where it has to be resolved. That was the issue.
and it was news to us too, so we're learning as we go, and he
This is the
said.
first time we've ever done it.
Yes.
And it's
So-
actually gone to this point, right?
And I'm glad he's been attending the meetings and helped us with the letter. And that's why that letter was sent out the 29th, because he was coming up with the verbiage so that we didn't
Yeah, we
have
had to
any
wait on
errors.
his
Yeah,
blessing on the letter.
But the fines, if the blight conditions are not fully abated by April 29th, the town will begin to assess fines. Is that,
Correct.
Yes.
I just drove by myself, that things are not improved. There's a big red X on the front.
There's a red
Yeah,
X on the door.
that's what I was wondering, if that actually had something to do with the demolition potential.
I was hoping.
That's the first time I'd seen that, and I took a note of that this morning when
And
I
I saw also there were electric company trucks out there the other day, I think maybe disconnecting the electric in preparation for demolition, but I don't know that.
the sidewalk was marked up, so that would be.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we're not there, but there are indications that they're gonna get there, but regardless, this will kick in if it's not taken care of.
He didn't comment on 242, Old Kings Highway, is it 242, am I right?
Yeah.
And he said that at this point, that the owner of that house has applied for a building permit. Does anybody, so he said it's in the building permit, stage.
Well, he had applied for a building permit last meeting. It was insufficient at the point in time that it was being reviewed. Now, whether he's come back and gone further, I don't know.
Well, there are so many other things that are
It's
blight
irrelevant.
on the pro- it's
He
a-
got a
yeah,
letter-
it's
he got a
totally
letter too,
irrelevant. Yeah,
right? 30 days
yeah.
after April 28th?
Yep.
He's getting the fine.
He got the same letter, so all three of the properties are on full notice with the same date certain on all three of them. And at this point, how they want to take care of it, I mean, we've given as much time and much process to allow them fairness, but
More than,
Yeah, they've had
A lot.
ample opportunity
Yeah.
to reconcile this situation. Okay.
can I, just for the minutes, could-
Really?
yeah,
Robert Woodside.
It's Woody.
I'm actually a town employee, so I'm
oh, you're a town employee?
observing.
And your title, what, Mr. Whitson?
Zoning Board of Appeals staff.
Thank you.
Compliance officer.
Okay, Woodside,
Woodside.
and ma'am?
Ashley Diamond?
Oh, okay. I know your husband. I plan to come back. I thought Nick, I came early because I thought Nick was going to be here just to get an update from him on how I think he needs to still stay engaged during this process. I don't think he just step back. I think he needs to monitor and give us some heads up as to whether or not he's seeing any progress at all.
so our next meeting is,
On these three cases
Yeah,
you're
These
talking
three
about.
cases,
Okay.
yeah, the others are,
yeah,
these are the three, but I don't think, yes, the letter's gone out, that was critical, yes, the fines can begin if
Yeah.
abatement doesn't start, but also, I don't think we should just wait until, say, well, they didn't do anything. I think he should stay actively involved to understand if there's progress being made.
well, maybe we can ask him and maybe put it in the minutes, and I can ask him to update us. He's in once a week, to maybe send out an email, whether it has anything in it or not, just on any update.
If nothing, just no progress.
No
right?
progress,
Yeah.
just the same, just an automatic thing at the end of the week to keep us updated.
Jim,
Keep us.
sorry. So let's just assume that none of if none of these conditions are remediated by the due date, right? Who's sending out the fines? We are. The town.
The town.
And then, we'll.
Who in the town does it?
Well, maybe I'll talk to Wayne.
Woody, do you know?
No,
I think maybe
Okay,
I'll
so
ask
let's
Wayne.
talk to the
Yeah.
first selectman's office
About
and
what the
find out what
process
the
is.
process is so
Okay.
that we're familiar with it. Do you know, Mark?
I do not.
And I think, Holly, to your point, these people are going to start getting the fines, but we shouldn't,
No.
right? We
no.
need Nick to kind of keep
Yeah.
up on that.
That's the
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Yes, we're where we need to be, but, again, I don't want to walk in here, and have no information whatsoever and find out that one's been totally remediated, another's gotten worse, or what, we really need to know in advance.
Yeah, Nick needs to keep up on this because in the fact that they do remediate the condition and maybe not necessarily report it to the town, Nick needs to be reviewing the process, right?
Great.
Do you think once a week is good enough for him to do that?
Just take
If he
a
goes by
ride
there at some point, at the end of the week, and can email us. I'll talk to him about that tomorrow.
Because the ordinance says when we start finding, he will inspect every day.
Oh, it does, in the ordinance?
Because the
Okay.
fines
Yeah, once the
are every
fines
day.
are-
So, be a good idea for everybody.
Well, and also let's confirm that he's available to do that.
not here every day, right?
He's not
Yeah,
here every day,
he's-
so
you're
who
right.
is gonna substitute in to satisfy that?
All right, let's,
If the Blight Review Board would like to appoint me, it's easy for me to
let's talk to the first selectman's office about
Okay.
process
Daily.
and
Yeah.
post-fine, how we
Yeah,
do that, right?
or the town administrator,
That's a
or
really-
whoever wants to talk about it.
May I make one more comment, which you may find gratuitous, but I would hope that if there is some progress towards amelioration or elimination of blight, that wouldn't stop the fine. I think the objective here is complete elimination of violations of
That's,
blight.
that's correct.
That's absolutely correct.
We gave them more than enough.
At what point would you consider assessing willful violation penalties?
Well, if we do the state, the real negative for the homeowner in there is that the state can then step in and also begin a fining process.
And the disadvantage of that would be,
That's not a disadvantage, it's just, I think it ratchets it up even to another level. I think we can, I mean, it's probably our determination what willful is, but I think if you've seen zero progress when the specifics have been laid out, that probably gets close to the definition of willful. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, and I guess we'll have to get an opinion from Mr. Fox as to what that is, but I'm hopeful that once they recognize that it's,
Yeah,
okay, well,
We'll cross that.
time will
bridge.
tell, exactly.
unfortunately.
and so I don't know of any new cases. I know Nick's mentioned that he is watching a couple of things, so I'm sure at the next meeting we'll get a report.
Nothing's advanced beyond the last meeting.
I think there was one he said, I can't remember, that he's just gonna take a more serious look at because a neighbor behind showed him what was going on behind the house. I think maybe that was,
Yeah, but I think that was the one where also it might be that hoarding comes into.
well, I think it was 16-001.
Oh,
That's the only
That's a
one
whole
that
one.
he indicated that he's having to take another look at. Everything else, there's a lot of progress. I mean, as much as these 3 cases have been, time consuming, a lot of the homes, with Ally's help, everybody's made a lot of progress with the help of the town. It's cleaned up a lot and helped a lot of people.
We
which is
call it
nice.
success.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, the percentage is a little higher than, we look at only certain things, so it's nice. Any more public comment? We have a quorum, so we can elect a new chairman.
just by way of an update, at the RTM meeting on the 22nd, they'll be electing a new RTM representative. It's on the agenda for that meeting. And I've been on this board as a representative of the RTM. And so now that it's been a couple of years, it kind of feels like somebody else will cycle in, and so you'll have a new rep here. And I just want to thank everybody on the board. It's been a pleasure to work with all of you. Really interesting process. And to Holly's point, I think we have accomplished a lot, and we're not done yet, but I think it's made a difference.
And learning
Appreciate
along the
working with all
way.
you. Yeah, it's great. Thank you.
Not an easy task for any one of us.
Do you think it's possible that the RTN might agree to having more than one rep?
I think they're gonna have to, because I don't think we're gonna get anybody from the human services.
We have a
just
meeting
have
on
to-
Friday, but we only
Yeah.
have a total of 7 spots and 5 are filled, so I brought it up, I'll bring it up again this Friday, but I don't
Yeah.
know that anyone's gonna be willing to
There
step
may
up.
be, I think we'd have to look at how the ordinance is written, because I think they're representatives from different places.
Yeah, I think it was one from each commission.
Yeah, and so it might require a little tweaking of the ordinance, but,
I just think more hands on deck would be
Yeah.
helpful.
yeah.
I agree. until everything gets in place, and even after that, I think it should be more.
Do you, I can pose that question to Frank Kemp, who seems to maybe be the best qualified to answer it.
Yeah,
Or Mark,
it's
are you-
clear, it's clearly in the ordinance.
And does it say that each commission, because we don't have anybody from Commission on Aging?
Yes, I'm the
Oh,
rep.
you are? Oh,
Yeah. Appointees to the Blight Review Board shall be limited to individuals serving on the P&Z Commission, Human Services Commission, Commission on Aging, Board of Selectmen, Representative Town Meeting.
Okay,
So
so
it's
there you
very-
have it.
That's it. Yeah.
Well, I think we ought to explore whether or not that could be tweaked, because I just think we meet and maybe even see if there's somebody with some more expertise that could help us.
yeah, would be good. Yeah.
Okay, I will, I'll be in touch with Frank and pose the question, okay?
Any chance Frank would do it?
He might. He might.
Oh, yeah, would be great. So we do have the quorum to elect a new chairman, and I think, do I make a motion? Because I think you said you would do it.
Well, I said I was
I
willing
heard-
to be
I totally
acting
heard you.
chairman through June, but, yeah, I'm willing to do it if there's not a better person.
I think you'd be great.
I
Liz,
think you'd be
Liz, you're
great.
out this month.
I will be replaced on the 22nd of April, so.
I don't have a replacement yet,
I think this is
So,
also a work in progress. We
I'll
don't know what
stay
we're gonna do.
on until we figure out a replacement.
You're out November.
You're staying on, correct?
Oh,
Well, somebody from the Board of Selectmen.
Yeah.
and,
My term runs concurrent with planning and zoning, so that's not up to me.
Oh, good.
okay,
Oh, okay.
So I'm here till
you're
November,
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
at minimum.
okay, great.
Yeah, I'm in the same state.
Okay, so when all those committees reconstitute themselves, they'll select representatives to.
And we'll see on Friday, I'll see if I can get someone. But I'll stay on until we do. But don't tell my husband I said that. Oh, Jesus, on camera.
Well, I'd like to make a motion that Jim become the next chairman of the Blight Review Board.
I second it.
All in
All in
favor?
favor? Aye.
I can't, I don't think I should.
Congratulations, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations.
No, it's an important thing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you've
So
been
I
on
guess
top
as
of
new
everything.
chairman, we need to elect a new secretary.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, do we have any volunteers for that job?
I can't help you.
I could do it.
Okay.
I volunteer.
I move that Mark Thorne be be elected secretary of the Blight Review Board.
Second?
I said, all in favor? Aye.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay, thanks, Mark.
Thank you. It's an honor.
I'll do the minutes. for
I
this
can
meeting.
help, but
I'll do
better
the minutes
somebody
for
else.
this meeting, so you won't-
All right.
we can adjourn? Or do we have any other new business? Anything else anybody
Well, we're
wants to bring up?
gonna update the chart,
Yeah,
right?
I'll call, I'm here tomorrow, I'll meet
Okay.
with Nick and
yeah,
make
And
those changes.
you're gonna talk to Nick about staying on it.
yes, weekly.
And I'll get in touch with Frank to see how we might expand
Well, I think,
or what the.
yeah, I think that would be great. We need to talk about what kind of support this committee needs now that committee, it's not a committee. This board needs now that we understand the level and the amount of work. I think we need administrative help more so, I think, than we've had. And
Definitely, because that Friday, when I finally got the verbiage from the attorney, which was great, it was a scramble to get it to someone. Nick had gone home. We had to get it to Linda, and thank goodness Jamie helped with just making sure everything was fine, and it went out.
Well,
So, yeah.
one thing I think that I'm going to do is I'm going to try to come in at least once a week and visit with Nick. Just, emails and everything are fine, but I'd like to have a better sense of what's going on before we suddenly get inundated with email messages or
Yeah.
something. So if that's all right with the board,
Oh, yeah.
I think that would help.
I don't think it's your time to make time to come in, but I don't think it'll be very long. Yeah.
Well, and I think he'll go over things. It takes a lot longer to do things than we realize because he has to document everything. Pictures again, written emails, everything has to be documented.
Well, that's what I mean by staff support also. It's just like we had to get the specific language from the legal department in order to describe why we went into executive session. Okay, now that we know how to do that,
Right.
I never occurred to me that there was a Connecticut state statute that we had to conform to in order to do that. Now we know it. But we just, we have to have the ability to get help when we need it and get it quickly. Because it's just, so much of our ability to get this done correctly is having the administrative responses
Absolutely.
at the right time.
Well,
So
now we
don't
have
keep-
some boilerplate on the letters, and we kind of went through that, and so we're building it.
And with Attorney Fox, he has another attorney working with him,
Yes, I've got his name.
which is great.
Sean.
Yeah,
It's Bernie, right?
yeah, he's
The
great.
redhead.
Attorney Bernie?
I think it
two
is
of them.
Attorney
That was
Bernie.
John Luizos, no?
No, there's
Who's the redhead?
Oh,
Maybe he's part of the team.
Yeah,
I think there is another one, because I spoke to somebody else too, because we didn't want anything to go out without it being legally correct,
Right.
and that's important. But yeah, I'll talk to Nick tomorrow.
Great.
Well, Holly, thank you for taking on the chairmanship. It was a at times thankless job.
I
and,
thank Liz for
all of yes,
Coing it with me many times.
It's hard, especially when it's a branding thing.
Yeah.
And you're a branding chairman.
We're all learning together, but you'll be
We have
great.
a move to adjourn, motion to adjourn,
Someone.
second,
All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye. Thank you.